Welcome back to Podcast Recovery, everyone. We're your hosts, David O.
Carly S.
And Eric V.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse.
David hates it. He hates it.
It's too much. All right. We're
Well, what about your beginning? And welcome back to Podcast Recovery, everyone.
We are your
why
hosts.
are we?
Right? So,
Thank you, Carly.
Now I'm gonna overthink shit.
don't
Okay.
overthink it. Just leave Eric alone.
That's
Thank
fine.
you.
I have to though. Somebody's got to take him down a peg.
Thank you.
All right. We are coming back to our second episode of our NA Step Working Guide. So this will be an entire series where we go 1 through 12, answering as many questions as we possibly can. Some of them, we'll skip here and there. But we're going to give you a comprehensive start on the Step Working Guide and also an extra glimpse on your hosts. We did our first episode where the big topics were the disease of addiction, denial, and hitting bottom, despair, and isolation. And right now we're about to get into powerlessness. And I'm going to read the first quick paragraph of this because
We are still on step 1.
we still are in... Yes, thank you.
So we
Thank
admitted
you.
that we
Yes.
were powerless over our addiction, that our lives have become unmanageable.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank
And
you.
we're right at
That's
powerlessness.
very
That's important.
good. Yeah, good shit. I did not think about that at all. That's very good. Thank you. As addicts, we react to the word quote-unquote powerless in a variety of ways. Some of us recognize that a more accurate description of our situation simply could not exist and admit our powerlessness with a sense of relief. Others recoil at the word, connecting it with weakness or believing it to indicate some kind of character deficiency. Understanding powerlessness and how admitting our own powerlessness is essential to our recovery will help us to get over any negative feelings we may have about the concept. And we have a dog upstairs barking. I don't know if you can hear that, but we can. All right, so we need to prove our own individual powerlessness to ourselves on a deep level. First question, over what exactly am I powerless?
Oh, shit. You skipped a whole bunch.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not going to read the 2 extra paragraphs unless there's something in there. Was there something you highlighted in there, Eric, that you would like to?
Yeah, let's, so... Others recoil at the word, connecting it with weakness or believing it to indicate some kind of character deficiency. And then the other part here is we may have tried to abstain from drug use or other compulsive behaviors, perhaps with some success for a period of time without a program, only to find that our untreated addiction eventually takes us right back to where we were before. And I think something very important to say about that right there, and like I've done this as well, but I still know people who do this where they'll take like a week off drinking, right? And they'll be like, well, now I'm great.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Try January.
Yeah, exactly. That sort of shit, right? Where it's like, okay, sure, but like the fact that you had to actually consciously think about it and do it kind of says something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like you had to create a month for yourself. So Yep.
No, you're 100% right. All right. Back to the question. Over what exactly am I powerlessness? Am I powerless?
Are we talking currently or before?
Yes.
Both.
Yep.
All right. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. Fuck it. Over what exactly am I powerless? The list goes on. I'm powerless over, how Eric decides to introduce himself at the beginning of a podcast.
That's true.
And I can either accept it or I can't. And right now, I can't accept it. So, no. I'm powerless over other people's actions, other people's thoughts, behaviors.
Those are the
Anything
the
outside
obvious
myself.
ones, right?
Anything outside of myself, but to put a little bit of a finer pin on it, like how people talk to me, I'm to a degree powerless. Like I can stand up for myself, I guess, or at least draw boundaries to, I guess, better hone in on what I think is acceptable for how I'm treated and talked to. But still, but beyond that, the person's going to act the way they're going to act. And probably the biggest thing, powerlessness, is people. Like, the only thing, like, let me go to the short list. What do I have power over? My own actions, and how I take whatever is going on in the world, or how I'm being treated, or whatever the scenario is, how I'm actually going to react to that. Like, what my actual physical actions are. That's what I have power over. Everything else is powerlessness.
Yeah.
Derek.
So obviously before coming into recovery, I would say I was powerless over drugs and alcohol, and that there was a compulsive, obsessive nature to their use, and that includes many things like
to interject real quick, I don't even know necessarily that that's so much about the drugs, that you like, until you realize your own power in the obsession and compulsion, it's really more you're powerless to your obsession and compulsion.
Yes. So like the obsession and compulsion like overcame sense.
Yeah. Just like you were saying.
For example, before we recorded another episode, we were talking about the Craigslist personal section.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good area where, I'm like, okay, I'm being lustful. I am horny. I want to have sex, but this is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But I am powerless over that feeling of lust, and like that feeling won.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm powerless over that. And yeah, I think that's an example, I think, besides drugs, where even though you have good intent, like it still like overrides, and it's like, well, I'm going to do this because I need it.
And I'm glad you brought it up that way, because our first thoughts and first emotions are generally out of our control.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna feel, and you're allowed to feel however you feel.
Think about an ARAC, right?
A what?
An ARAC. Like, did you work retail?
The fuck is an ARAC?
It's the rack right by the counter.
Okay.
It's put there for people to buy impulsively and like it's an impulse.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm with you.
You put stuff in those racks, and it's the same thing. It's like it's put right there so that you can grab it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, like you're not necessarily in control of your thoughts at all times, or your emotions. But it's how we react to those thoughts and emotions that is ultimately good. That's where your power is.
It's how you end up with a candy bar after you leave a convenience store, and you're like, how the fuck did I buy this?
I don't like the word react.
Mm-hmm. Well,
respond.
In recovery, I think we learn to respond, because at least me, I was very much reactionary.
Mm-hmm.
Like
if I'm active, I was reactionary.
I think all of us were. Yeah, like if we're upset, it's like, well, I don't want to be upset. Like let's go get drunk. Let's stop. Let's nip this thought or emotion in the bud before we
the bud.
God, I just tickle in my throat. Yeah, let's nip that as fast as we possibly can by changing that emotion to whatever manufactured feeling that we want. That powerless, everything.
Next question.
I've done things while acting out on my addiction that I would never do when focusing on recovery. What were they?
Snorting coke off the stomach of someone.
You're in a mood, aren't you? Aren't you, bud? You're kind of You're kind of going there.
Well,
Apparently.
you asked what I wouldn't
now.
do, right?
Yeah. but there's a level of tact here, buddy. There's things I've done things acting out on my addiction that I would never do when focusing on my recovery.
Here's one. And this is the one I feel probably the worst about throughout my addiction, is I stole from my cousin.
Okay.
I stole 2 bongs from him, and I was dumb. I was like really into cocaine. I sold them and bought more coke.
Yeah.
It was a rough time, but it was an action where I felt like just so bad, and it's something that like I would never ever do.
You never steal a bong, kid.
Well,
ever.
no, I wouldn't steal from like my cousin or anyone really like that.
I didn't
Like,
steal. Like
if I wasn't,
Yeah.
if I wasn't high, or if I wasn't trying to get high,
Yeah.
right? Like I had a mission. Like I had a mission to get coke because I needed coke. I needed it.
Yeah.
It was like it wasn't a want. It was a need.
Mm-hmm.
So like it made me do things that I didn't want to do.
counter
Right?
to your
Like,
you know
there's a
moral
There's
whatever fortitude.
there's many things when it came to cocaine that like I would do terrible things for.
Yeah.
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 I don't know if you can relate to that one, but cocaine brought out a demon in me.
All right, so probably since we're going into the worst of the worst. Things that I done while acting out on my addiction. I robbed people with a broken gun
That was your thing.
around Catonsville. Like, this guy wanted drugs. He didn't have any money. He was like, well, I have this broken gun. And we were like, what? So, he gave us, like, this fucking Glock that was fucking broken and damaged and, like, wouldn't fire. And, like, we were never going to fix it up or anything. So it had no bullets in it. It had no ability to fire. But me and my fucking roommate would go hold people. And we only did it, like, a handful of times. I think maybe like 6 or 7. But, yeah, like... we sort of thought it was like the Fight Club thing, where like, oh, we're not really gonna hurt somebody, and like
It's the Fight Club. Oh my god!
You're
fucking what was Meatloaf's character's Bob? You're fucking Bob out there trying to.
No, like, remember when they robbed that like convenience store guy, and they're like, Raymond,
Bob,
what do you want to
Bob
be?
gets shot in the head, man.
Yes, exactly. But anyway, like, we were as conscientious as possible. We never stole people's wallets. Like, we would actually just take their cash. So we would never take their credit cards or their license. Either way, it was a piece of shit thing to fucking do that I knew was fucking wrong. And after the last time we did it, both of us, like, for whatever reason, it really hit us like that time, and we were like, we're getting rid of this gun, right?
Were they?
And we were like, yeah,
Can I
we're
ask
getting
a
rid of this.
question, David?
What?
Did you hold up men or women?
Men.
Only men?
Only men.
Okay.
Yeah, never rob women.
That was kind of you.
Yeah. We only rob dudes that were just alone by themselves. Yeah. Invulnerable. Yeah. I mean, anybody's vulnerable when you have a fucking gun. It is a piece of shit thing to do, and like, we tried to do it. Like, my rationalization is terrible. It's terrible. So yeah, what things did I do while acting out on my addiction that I would never do while
Everything.
Everything. Everything.
I wish I would have brought like the shit that I actually wrote in step 1 to like look back and be like, oh yeah, this is what I wrote down then. This is where
actually,
I am
that would
now.
be really interesting. Yeah, I should actually do that.
I have all my original
So do I.
steps somewhere.
So do I. I'll have to
Because
find
I
them.
typed them all, so...
You fucking nerd.
Of course,
You
yeah.
nerd. So yeah, I mean, yeah, everything. The answer is everything.
And that goes to the next question. What things have I done to maintain my addiction that went completely against all of my beliefs and values?
And so,
Stealing. That's my big one.
anybody out there listening,
Stealing,
like,
lying, cheating.
a lot of this in, like, we're gonna be brutally honest in here. Like, some of these questions are repetitive.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And there were times in my step work where I would be like, See question number 7.
Me too.
Like,
I never wrote that, but it
I
would
wrote it
put
all the
so
time.
much self-doubt in my mind, being like, didn't I just answer this?
I know,
Am I doing something
remember,
wrong?
I remember, yeah, back in the day, you would
No.
text me and be like, didn't I just answer? I'm like, yes, you
I
did.
did the same thing David did. I was like, I just answered this question.
Because that's what my sponsor told me as well. He was like, sometimes, and he was like, even further, there's some questions that are flat out not going to apply to you.
Yeah.
At all. He was like, don't try and do some mental gymnastics or write some bullshit that it isn't real. If it does not, like, if it's a question about sexual abuse and you have no history of it, don't try to make something up. Just say that not applicable. Move on.
Yeah.
Move on. Like, it's better to just be honest with the step work and be like, sexual abuse is not a part of my story.
Yeah.
I can move past this question instead of being like, oh, well, one time a girl rejected. No, don't make something up. Just keep moving on. And if you genuinely think you've answered that question before, it's okay to say that. Like, if you're like, I feel like these questions are very similar. The things I've done while acting out on my addictions that I would never do. What things have I done to maintain my addiction that were completely against my beliefs and morals? To me, it's the same fucking question.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, I don't think we need to answer it a second time. So, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Okay. So we'll move forward. How does my personality change when I'm acting out on my addiction? Do I become arrogant, self-centered, mean-tempered, passive to the point where I can't protect myself, manipulative, whiny?
I think I'm a little bit of passive, but also manipulative.
I could see that with you. I don't know what that means, but I could see you just being like, no, we should totally do this. And I'd be like, okay. All right, sounds cool. But, oh man. Oh. Eric, you were definitely arrogant. Arrogance has got to be in there.
Well, with Coke, I mean, like, I became a demon, like I said. Like, very, very arrogant, very abrasive.
I was mean-tempered.
But like,
dude,
every
people
other
always told me,
drug-
they were like, how are you the only person that can smoke weed and get angry?
Well, no, every other drug, I'm super chill. I'm really nice, like all of that. But for some reason, with cocaine, I just want to fuck anything, and
that's true.
Just like, I don't know. It's a crazy.
I've told you about how cocaine made me get a boner, right?
A boner?
Yeah.
I'm not
like
surprised.
90% of the time.
Yeah.
I would do coke and I would just get a boner. I'd be in a room like with dudes. They'd be like, dude, are you like full torque right now? I'm like, yeah, I am. Do you want to make something of it, or can we just continue doing what we're doing? It's like, all right, we'll just don't let it ruin
you
up
should
our
just be like,
KDR right
you're
now.
the weird one for calling it out. Okay?
Yeah, why are you looking at my dick,
You're
dude?
looking at my dick, dude.
No, dude, the one word that is on here that is not on here that I 100% word was belligerent. I'm pretty belligerent as it is.
Yeah.
Dude, especially walking into the tattoo convention yesterday, I don't know what.
I don't know what set you off, but you were.
Something set me off, and I just went on like this 5-minute tirade. Oh, I do. So, Eric, I was talking about parents coming and talk to me.
I don't know why it came up.
I don't know why
it came up out of
either.
nowhere.
Parents doing what?
Parents coming and talking to me while picking my son up from daycare.
Okay.
And I was just like, I fucking hate it. Like, some dude was like, oh, so you're Magnus's dad. I was like, I don't know who the fuck you are.
Oh, God. You have to make small talk with those people?
Yeah. Yes.
But he got so angry talking about it yesterday.
He was like,
we don't have to do that. I've never talked to another parent.
I don't have to, but they come and talk to me. Like, we'll be there at the same time.
You don't seem that friendly, though.
No, thank you. I have carefully crafted this persona and this visual image to be like, do not talk to me.
I'm approachable,
That's what I've been putting off for years. But the thing that's funny about that, the juxtaposition is, if you do come and talk to me, I actually am very nice and respectful, and I'm not just like an outward dick to you. So this dad comes up to me. He's like, oh, I'm Trent's dad. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't know, Trent. I don't know who the fuck you are. Why are you talking to me? Oh, you're Magnus's dad. Yep. How do you know that?
Well, Trent told him.
Trent told him.
Well, Magnus bit Trent last week, apparently.
Magnus bit Trent last week.
Bit Trent?
Yes, which is very weird because Magnus does not bite at home.
Magnus is a biter?
It's the first time it's happened. So I'm not worried.
Okay.
He's like, oh yeah, so I heard Magnus bit Trent last week. I was like, oh yeah, I heard that. And like in my mind, I'm like, what did Trent do?
What?
I'm like, did Magnus have a car? And Trent was trying to take his car? In which case, Magnus bit him? Mind your fucking business, Trent. Take your hands off Magnus's car.
That's true. There is
If you ask nicely and you're like, hey Magnus, can I see your car? He will give it to you 99% of the time. But if you take it from him, he's gonna look at you in a way of like, what are you doing? That was in my hand. Why is it now in your hand? So I don't know how we got onto this.
understandable.
Your belligerence.
Yes, my see, everybody listening, that's my belligerence.
Don't worry, I've got the starting point.
Thank you. I became verbally belligerent, and I was a miserable person. Most people would not like me when I was doing drugs.
Oh.
Next question. Who wants to read it?
Do I manipulate other people to maintain my addiction? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there another way?
I mean, I literally stayed with my girlfriend for years because her family and I traded drugs to each other.
Oh.
Like.
Well, that's not a manipulation. That's just a good business tactic.
Well, that was a matter of convenience.
That's manipulating yourself, bud.
But it was like, okay, so I get from her, I get benzos. From her mom,
okay,
I get Adderall.
Yeah.
From her brothers, they sell me weed. Like, I also do.
That's a quid pro quo situation.
You know, so it's like, I gotta keep this one around.
Which is actually my favorite Latin to use. I use that all the time. Once I actually figured out, once I actually learned what it meant, I was like, oh, that's really useful. Anyway, yeah. How is there another way to maintain your addiction other than manipulation?
You have to find out a way to get rid of it.
Is there a rational way to?
It's called money.
No, but to not manipulate.
And honesty.
Yeah, honesty. Exactly. That's the antithesis to manipulation is honesty. It's like, I'm gonna go in the bathroom and do some cocaine. Okay, we good? All right, cool. And that's the opposite. And there's
have to be
not actually running to the store. I'm running to buy some more Coke.
Yeah. And you're like, hey Carly, where are you going? Oh, I'm
and then I had to get gas, and then I had to go do this, and then I had to go do that.
Yeah.
Just took longer.
Yeah, it just took longer than I meant it to. Yeah, it's the only way. There is no other way to maintain your addiction. Unless you're in some bizarro fucking world where you literally just tell people hey, I'm going to go get some meth and then smoke it for the next 3 days and not answer my phone
Should I
anyway
get enough
whatsoever.
for you?
Do you want some meth? Because honestly, I'm not going to share it with you. Or if I do, I'm only going to give you a little bit and I'm going to take a lot. What the fuck is happening? I feel like Carly and I are having a conversation and you're having Tourette's.
Bizarro.
What's the next question, Eric? Why don't you go ahead and read it?
Did you not get that reference? Oh, man. Did you not watch Adult Swim in the
Do you have the book in front of you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So we just did how does their personality change?
And do I manipulate people?
So have I tried to quit using and found that I couldn't? Have I quit using on my own and found that my life was so painful without drugs that my abstinence didn't last very long? What were these times like?
Well, I don't know if I actively tried to quit using. I would tell myself that I was going to quit using.
I'm not doing this anymore.
Right. And then I would do it again. So, or I'd quit using one drug just to go on to the next.
Yeah.
But there was times where I did have to quit using, in college for sports.
My shit was usually for probation.
I think it was my senior year, they implemented in-house drug testing where we could get drug tested any time of the year.
At Salisbury?
Yeah.
What dicks.
Yeah. So
come on.
Yeah, for real.
So
Coach, I don't have to take a test to tell you I'm doing drugs.
So I was able to maintain that, and I was happy because I did get drug tested. So I was like, all right, it wasn't for nothing.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
But I wouldn't say it was
I never.
It wasn't painful at that time, but later on, it was. Oh, I'm gonna quit using, or I have to stop I have to quit using, and I just told myself that, but then the next day it was the same shit over and over again.
Yeah. So when I was on probation, that was the only time, like, for the first couple times on probation, I would stop doing drugs, but, like, I would still drink.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't test for alcohol. So it was just, you know, a switcheroo. Like, it was just, oh, well, I can't smoke weed. Mm-hmm. Like, was I miserable and, like, wanted to smoke weed? Yeah, for sure. But I was just like, well, at least I can get fucked up somehow.
Yeah.
See, yeah, that's... But as far as trying to quit by myself, fuck no. I never tried. Even though I knew I had a problem... And going to the point of, like, life was too painful without drugs, yes, that was very much the case for me. Because, like, my brain was just a cobweb of bullshit from my life that I was like, I don't want to deal with any of that. So, yeah, my brain and life and emotions were very painful. So I was like, drugs is the only way to cope with this.
So, I mean, I think mine is, like, the easiest one for me to remember is cigarettes. And how many times I would throw away, like, half a pack of cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
Like, the night, I'm, like, going to sleep. I'm like, this is my last cigarette. I'm like, I break them, like, the rest of the pack in half. You know, you flush it.
Yeah, I've done that.
And then the next morning, I wake up.
Okay, so yeah, if we're talking about
and buy a new pack of cigarettes. That, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that fucking habit happened. Oh my god,
so many times.
Years.
Yeah, with cigarettes, it took for. I mean, yeah,
years and years and years and years of me looking in the mirror, being like, "This is the last fucking time." And
I smoked consistently for 16 years.
I smoked.
God, that's bad.
For 12.
Ugh.
For 12 years.
Yeah, no, and
it's just crazy.
Dude, I was so fucking angry every time I tried to quit smoking cigarettes. I was just, my temper was like,
there's an uncomfortability in those first 3 days that's like undescribable.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, because nicotine's a motherfucker. Nicotine sucks, dude. And honestly, my body has not felt right since not smoking.
Well, Nate, you've smoked for
16 years.
Honestly, you've been smoking longer than that, right?
Yes, really. But like consistent. Like, I was a pack a day smoker as of 19. Before that, I was still like, you know, I was smoking when I could,
and you were
all the way back till like age 11.
A day, right?
Some days, yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, if we had a bonfire, I'm smoking 2 packs.
Because I've seen you like.
Dude, I had a fucking
charge
problem.
Through cigarettes.
Dude, I had a fucking problem.
You and Brad, like, we'd be sitting on
the
porch.
We'd go, dude, I swear to God, me and Brad had an unspoken competition.
It's like, dude, it's 15 minutes. You guys are on cigarette 3. Like, slow your roll. Like, you don't need it. Like, you literally don't need that nicotine right now.
But I did. How has my addiction caused me to hurt myself or others? It's like all these questions are like counted off. Like,
yeah.
When do you want me to stop talking?
Like which time?
Yeah. Dude, fucking my addiction caused me to fucking huff Duster for a month.
Ew.
That was the worst.
I mean, I did nitrous, but ew, Duster.
Dude, the last time it was coming, like the can was coming up to my lips, I was literally like, I fucking hate myself. This is God. I'm like, this is disgusting. And I just threw it away. I was like, this is fucking horrible.
Shout out to Allison out there from the episode of Intervention. I can see sunshine.
What? Was she huffing Duster?
Oh my God, season 1, one of the best episodes ever.
I loved that
one
show.
One of the best episodes.
Dude,
ever.
I used to judge the shit out of people, right?
I used to sit there high as fuck and watch it and be like, my life's not as bad as theirs.
No, I'd always be getting high, usually on Oxy, and then be like, they're like smoking fucking black tar. I'm fine.
Yeah, these guys are losers.
Look at fucking assholes.
Shameless was also one that I watched while I was getting high.
I never watched that show.
Shameless?
I need
Yeah,
to
me
watch
too.
that
I was like,
show.
my life is a lot better than theirs.
I mean, to be fair though, I was living in a car for several years, so I
Yeah.
didn't exactly have,
TV. All right, we're on to unmanageability.
How does your addiction hurt yourself and others?
I mean, obviously, like the physical harm we just caused to put it.
I mean, Garrett talked about it last night, which was probably the most he pulled the veil down that I've ever heard. Like, he was talking about how when she used to do coke and, like, he would just go out and get crabs just to make himself feel better. And I was like, oh, my God.
Aw.
Oh, yeah, he had never said that before.
No.
What a Baltimore thing to do.
And he would come.
That's such a Baltimore situation.
He said he would just eat crabs and then he would go to sleep because at that point he had to, like, work on Saturday morning. So he would just get crabs on a Friday night and eat them, and then he'd wake up on Saturday morning.
Stop.
And Carly would still be awake playing video games.
Did he go to Ships?
No, he likes craving crabs.
Oh, okay.
But the fact that, I had never heard of, like, pull the curtain back like that before. I was like, oh, shit. I'm like, this is wild.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm sure that there's a lot of pain that I caused others, but
wait, hold on. Can we fast forward a little bit?
okay.
Have you made amends to Garrett?
No.
Oh. Have you thought about it?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
I know you didn't get that part. Yeah, it's
living amends every single fucking day, the things that I do for that man.
Touche. Point. Yep, absolutely. You're 100% right. You do not owe him an amends.
No, I do, definitely.
She's doing a living amends, which is better. That's better than.
But I mean, even early on in recovery, like, he made a comment and was just like, "This is like, it's night and day with how you are now, and how you were before."
Nice.
Like, and that was like very early on in my recovery. So like, there's a lot of harm done, but there's a lot of people that, like, my family and I don't really talk about it. Occasionally I'll get I'm really proud of you. And that's just like it.
Yeah. I got that last
But we
week.
don't talk about it.
Did you ever, so you haven't done anything like with your sisters, like formally or anything?
No.
You ever thought about it?
No, not really, honestly.
And we'll get
Our
into that.
relationship now is, I mean, speaks for itself of how great it is. But too, like, there were so many resentments that I had against them that, I don't know, but that, we're not there.
I wish I was closer with Melissa. I feel like I would like Melissa a lot.
Melissa's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, Melissa seems pretty cool. And I didn't realize we were both 87, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Unmanageability. Who wants to take this one?
I can read it.
Not the whole thing.
Are we reading? Yeah, read your important parts there.
Yeah.
I don't have important parts of
Okay.
unmanageability, so...
Well,
Read the first paragraph.
All right, so unmanageability. The first step asks us to admit two things. One, that we were powerless over our addiction, and two, that our lives have become unmanageable.
Well, that's true because they.
Actually, we would be hard-pressed to admit one and not the other. Our unmanageability is the outward evidence of our powerlessness. There are two general types of unmanageability. Outward unmanageability, the kind that you can be seen by others, and inner or personal unmanageability. What does unmanageability mean to you?
This was actually, I remember this. Reading this for the first time, the difference between outward and inward unmanageability, because I had no concept of inward unmanageability because I had, either run away from anything internal or just numbed it out for so long that I had no relationship with myself or with my thoughts or with my emotions. So I was very much focused coming into recovery on the outward unmanageability, because it says, like right here, it says often identified as arrests, job losses, and family problems. Some of our members are being incarcerated. Some of us can't maintain a relationship. Some of us are cut off from our families. Bingo, check. All three of those coming into recovery. I had just gotten out of jail. I couldn't hold a fucking job, and my sister would no longer talk to me or let me see my nieces. I had all 3 fucking checked off. So early in the step work, I was like, okay, I fucking belong here because this is, and I really felt like I was like, okay, this is speaking to me. This is telling my fucking story. But I was focused on that outward unmanageability and then inward unmanageability. We may believe that the world revolves around us, not that it should, but that it does. And emotional volatility is often one of the most obvious ways we can identify personal unmanageability. I didn't know that was part of like how unmanageable my life was, and it absolutely was. So I had a lot of work to do in order to just like get to that point of admitting that I had inward unmanageability.
I had never felt much of the outward unmanageability until the very end. There was family problems, but it wasn't caused because of me. Yeah, that wasn't a thing.
No,
but then it was the risk of that outward unmanageability of possibly losing my job. But I had a lot of personal or inner unmanageability
because you were actually outwardly very successful. Both of you were very outwardly successful.
So that I think was
me, not so much.
Again, part of the reason why it was so hard to identify as an addict because I wasn't losing anything on the outside, but I was dead on the inside, fully dead. And there's a sentence in here: we may believe that the responsibilities the average person takes on as a matter of course are just too large a burden for us to bear. And I felt that. Yeah. So much of the time.
Yeah, especially at the end of your story where everything, your world crashed around you.
I honestly felt like I had to be Superwoman. Obviously probably nobody else really thought that but me. Right? But that was part of what drove me to keep pushing I have so much responsibility. I have to do cocaine to stay awake all the time.
Have you seen Encanto?
Yes.
I love Encanto.
Tell me you're not.
I haven't. I've only watched it once, and I haven't seen it in a while.
Oh, so the Luisa, the strong sister,
her song.
Oh, I love that song. First time I saw it, I was like, oh my god. So many of the songs in Encanto are great. But yeah, she always felt like she had to hold on to the world in order to keep things together.
Yeah, and
she always had to be the strong one.
Yeah, and I still sometimes feel that, or put that on myself.
That's just. Yeah, that's Carly. Yeah, Carly always has to be the strong one, and I know that about you.
It's exhausting.
Which I love. I love, and I'm also very sad about it. Yeah, I'm you don't have to do that, but see, that's the fucked up part of our minds is that that you don't have to hold on to the world, but then the other part of your fucking brain says, yeah, you do. If you don't, everything's gonna collapse. Right. Everything's gonna fucking fall apart. What about you, Eric? Outward and inward and unmanageability.
Well, I'm going to take this a different way, actually. So I'm going to talk about how unmanageability has changed for me kind of over time. Because, this doesn't mean the same thing that it meant to me when I was 24.
And it shouldn't, yeah.
So, when I was 24, my unmanageability was, I can literally not stop doing drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally,
I mean, if that was still the case 12 years from 12 years in, it's some people it is. Anyway, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, but that was the unmanageability. Was there were tricks to it too, where I was well, I can control this and I can control that, and I could control it. So but I think as it changes, what it becomes is it's not really the hard part about the unmanageability and what it says is for a lot of people it's okay, I do drugs, I lose everything, I become XXX.
Yeah.
And you kind of just said oh, you guys were successful, right? In a
quote unquote.
So when I came back at 27 into the rooms, that was really this question was impossible for me to answer because it was how are what is unmanageable for you? And it's well, I just bought a house.
Yeah.
and it's like I have like
I have a career.
I have a career. I have like this. I have X, and
Yeah,
like,
I have a degree.
it's like
I have all
I've
these
made
things,
this
yeah.
decision to.
I have a
come-
401k. I
It's
I am not destitute.
Well, it's like I've made a decision to come back into recovery to do this work. And,
Yeah.
And it's even evolved since then, where it's like, what does unmanageability mean to me? While I'm more in, I'm less into an abstinence-based program and more into a moderation-based program.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you're thinking more of bottom lines and manageability, and like what is the bottom line compared to like, how far are you willing to take something before it becomes unmanageable?
Yeah.
Which is like, it's a fine line, and you really have to be very, very conscious of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Vigilance has to be,
Very vigilant.
paramount at all times. All right. That was great answers. Great answers. Well done. 500 points to Gryffindor all around. Are you Gryffindor? You're a Gryffindor.
I think if we were being honest, like, I think we'd all be like more collectively Ravenclaw.
So, okay, can we digress for just a second? Is it bullshit that like you can never change like, come on, at age 11, like you don't go through a couple years and like then at 13 or 14 you're like I'm not so much a Hufflepuff anymore.
Well,
But I think the house shapes you.
Yeah, the house does shape you too.
Yeah.
So-
but aren't there some like Snape, like, yes, he was a Slytherin, but really
Not all Slytherins are bad.
yeah, but when you look at like what he did, you're like, oh, that's Gryffindor shit.
Well, yeah,
That's totally Gryffindor shit.
But again, not all Slytherins are bad.
Or is just the Sorting Hat just so fucking like magical and like all seeing that it like knows that like
Yes.
It's
him
omni-
being a Slytherin
no.
has to be a part of the story
the
in
Sorting-
order for him to
Yes.
be able
The
to do
Sorting
what
Hat
he did.
is omnipresent.
I guess
It's omnipresent.
yeah, I guess it's like God.
It knows now, it knows yesterday, it knows tomorrow.
And also, one thing I thought of while you were talking about that, Eric, another Harry Potter reference, is that unmanageability and the disease of addiction, a little bit, is a fucking boggart.
Huh.
You know? It's a shapeshifter.
So what's your boggart?
Right now?
Yeah.
I mean, redheads. No.
I think lust would be my boggart right now.
Lust is definitely a boggart for me right now. Yeah, like, but also like the future. The future is very much something that like I'm tenuously struggling with.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would kind of be, you know, the manifestation or the
That would be your boggart.
It would be the form of the monster. But I also like thinking about that. It's very apropos because like just depending how or where we are in our lives, how that monster is going to manifest itself.
What's your boggart, Carly?
I don't know.
Shoes?
No.
Just a giant pair of shoes.
Yes.
No.
No.
Is it being alone?
No. I love being alone.
But you don't like being left out.
I don't like being left out, but I love being alone.
Yeah.
Like, I love to make it
What a
my
juxtaposition.
active choice to be alone.
Yes. But when
When I'm not
see.
included, that's hurtful.
yeah.
So is
I
your
guess.
is your boggart then like interest in you?
I guess it would have to be just, I don't know,
Like
being left out.
disinterest in Carly from others?
Sure.
Okay,
Being
we'll go with
left
that.
out?
Sure.
Somebody read the next question. I'm going to grab Pellegrino.
Have I ever been arrested or had legal trouble as a result of my addiction? No. That's a no.
So before
Wait, that's not the whole
okay.
question.
Go ahead.
Have I ever done anything that I could have been arrested for if only I recall it? Sure. And what have those things been?
All right, Carly.
Cocaine!
So wait, before we get into David and I who have been arrested, Carly, what is the worst thing you have done
Sorry,
that,
trigger for the alcoholics.
that would have gotten you arrested?
That was rude. I'm sorry. That was funny, though.
I don't think there's like a worst. I think it's just basic like
Your terrible donkey
like
story.
doing the drugs. Well, that wasn't even illegal.
I mean, defrauding people out of money, technically.
Sure.
Oh my god!
When you put it like
the
that.
cancer I forgot.
Yeah.
Holy shit! That's like 7th level of hell stuff, Carly.
Yeah, but I don't think it was like
Jesus.
something I would have been arrested for.
No, but it's just morally like,
Jesus.
jeez. You know?
No, I wasn't.
Take it down a notch,
See, I
bud.
wasn't big on like stealing or vandalizing or doing any of that shit. I just like
I'm not a degenerate like you,
did
David.
right. I just drank and did drugs and
Yeah.
drove my car, and so that would have been
Yeah.
like
DUIs is probably
Right.
the most readily. Yeah.
DUIs for
or like
DUIs and possession was just
or the
probably,
amount of times that I should have probably gotten pulled over because I like smoking and driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was.
But
that's,
you were on the burn run roads. You're fine.
Yeah.
except there was one time a cop car pulled out behind us, and I thought my life was over.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Always. I still think my life is over when a fucking cop is behind me.
Dude, I ate an entire blunt once.
Ew.
I just ate it.
But he wasn't. He pulled out of the neighborhood on College Avenue.
Yeah.
But we went right on to what was that, Bonnie Branch or whatever, and he went left. Mm-hmm. So we were good.
Yeah. Was it Howard County cop?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in trouble. Yeah.
I've that and I've also gotten stopped. Like I was trying to pick up drugs from someone in Howard County, and they told us to pull into a parking lot, and there were cops in that parking lot. So I turned around and pulled out, and like went down the road and pulled somewhere else, and they must have thought we looked sketchy, and followed us, and then like pulled in behind my car. But
Yeah. Well, once
I had nothing on me, so they were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm trying to, I'm trying to go to my friend's house. I've never been there before. Like, I'm lost." And obviously it was a bullshit story. He probably didn't believe me, but our car didn't smell. Like, I had nothing on me, and it
you're
was
a
just
girl.
like,
Girls
get
always
out
get
of
away
here.
with shit. Yeah. See, that was one thing I figured out later is like, yeah, doing shit in public places is sketchy, but like when you're in that scenario where you like pull into a Barnes and Noble and there's a bunch of cops, get out and go to Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
Like just
always
you
get
out, just get out and look like you're just going about. You're like, oh yeah, I'm meeting in the parking lot of a fucking Safeway. Oh, there's a cop here. I'm going grocery shopping.
Yeah, but I don't even know what time it was.
Yeah.
Like, it was later. I don't know if the stores were open.
Yeah.
And why whoever it was told us to pull into.
It'd be funny if you were just all zooted on coke and you're like, Barnes and Noble is clearly closed, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" I just really needed a magazine, officer. Like I
And
wanted.
this was when I was in
magazine.
high school, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, all right. Eric,
What?
do you want to take the arrested in legal trouble?
So I've been arrested once. If it like
You badass.
Besides getting like whatever like drinking citations.
Yeah.
And, like trespassing
Oh,
charges.
I did get an alcohol citation in college, but
I had a trespassing.
That's still on your record.
My trespassing is still on my record too. I trespassed.
You know the fucking governor has to get rid of that shit.
my sister bought us the alcohol.
But I got arrested in Howard County.
Yep.
Right across from the Enchanted Forest. I had just bought some coke from this dude from Bippy's. That dude's dead today. He OD'd. And just a reminder, you know. And then
As long as we don't go down that death hole again.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
We've moved
We're
on.
continuing.
We're down in the
We've
lust
moved on.
hole.
So
Okay.
That sounded bad.
So now I'm gonna go into your lust hole. But the fucking so I like this this guy, we were making a trade. I was working at Sam Goody at the time, and like working at Sam Goody, people would
Tell me you're old
sometimes-
without telling me you're old.
Sometimes Sometimes
I know what Sam Goody is.
sometimes people would just give us drugs like at the counter. They'd be like, yeah, here's like a bag of weed if you guys are interested. And it's like, oh cool, thanks man. So I met this guy who was essentially like, he was like,
I'm
I'm
interested.
He was like, I'm essentially like a pharmacist and blah blah blah, and like I can get you any type of pill. And I was like, you're useful. So I was gonna trade like this guy weed from this one dealer who I just bought coke from to then trade.
Dude, I
that
did that
for
so many
Oxy,
times.
And then
I did
bring
that
it
so many
back
times.
to the other dealer.
Yep.
And like, luckily, I left the Coke with my dealer, and I was like, okay, I'll get the rest of this when I come back, because I had a busted tail light. Got pulled over immediately as I pulled out, and they were just like pigs in shit, man. There were so many of them. Like, I got charged with distribution, 4 counts of possession, and 4 counts of paraphernalia.
How can you get? I don't. That's what I've never understood. I'm like, I'm one person. How can you get me 4 counts of possession?
Well, I had 4 different drugs.
Oh, yeah, okay,
that makes sense.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Scratch that.
They cut it down to just possession, and they got rid of all the other charges. But yeah, that was the only time I've ever been arrested, and I had to go to Columbia Addiction Center like everyone else does in Howard County, and you know, it was 6 months of dry, or 9 months of like being dry, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do we have time for David's arrest record?
I mean, what can we have the best one? I guess.
Or can they be condensed? Like, how many times were you arrested on possession?
11 times.
All 11 possession?
Everyone was a possession charge.
Yeah.
Was there anything else?
I did get a fireworks citation, but that was a citation.
But was there distribution or like intent to sell?
How
like,
are you that bad at
nope,
this,
just
dude?
possession.
No.
How
just
are you
possession.
that bad at like?
I
smoking?
was reckless.
Really? I mean,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes, dude.
You're like Jane Silent Bob smoking out in front of the store or something.
3
like,
of them were before I was 18, so those ones got wiped away because I was a minor. So technically, only 8 in a matter of 7 years. So that's
for
not
you.
bad.
All right.
Yeah. So I had more charges than I did years using as an adult. Technically,
The one in Pennsylvania too was just possession?
Yeah. Yep. They wanted to get me for distribution, but I didn't have any baggies. I didn't have a scale. And they were like, "This is all for you." I was like, "Yep,
How much was it?
an ounce."
Of
an
weed.
ounce.
okay.
An
Yeah.
ounce.
And I actually had just gotten a root canal done, so I had oxys on me too. But I had I had the actual, I had gotten the root canal the day before. So I actually had the prescription with me. I was like, dude, you can look at my mouth, because he was like, you look fucked up. I was like, I just got a fucking root canal done, dude. I was like, here's the script from the, he was like, they called the doctor and they're like, this guy just it all checked out. So they couldn't get me for the oxys at all. And dude, they were like, where's the heroin? I was like, what do you mean, where's the fucking heroin? What are you talking about? They were like, this is the heroin highway. Didn't you know that? And I was like, no. And I was like, yeah, I totally knew that. But I didn't do heroin. And then they said the rudest thing that I've ever been fucking said to me ever. They were like, well, you have the heroin body. I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
That's not rude.
That is very rude.
I think that's a compliment. That means that you have been
What? I was
preserved?
skin and bones?
You've
It was
been-
terrible.
you
I
have
looked
been-
awful.
No,
I looked awful, and they knew it. And
we've
like,
talked about this. The heroin addicts usually are the ones who look good when in NA.
heroin chic. It was
You
terrible.
know?
It was rude.
Look
It was rude.
Look how young I look.
It was
look
rude.
beautiful.
I was doing cocaine, oxys, and weed and alcohol and whatever hallucinogens I could do. It's rude. I did not a heroin addict. So yeah, those are my last 2. Did 15 days in jail between Howard County and Pennsylvania, Philly, and it was awful. It was fucking miserable. Have I ever done anything that I could have been arrested for?
We don't have time for that.
Yeah, we don't have time for that.
Well,
Yes,
well,
I did big crimes. I do not
we
want to talk
won't
about
talk
them.
about that.
I will not incriminate myself on those
Let
ones.
me think about one of mine that I did that is like not.
Good Lord, what is happening
This
upstairs?
happening upstairs.
Well, we're gonna probably shut it down. I think now.
Now?
Well, yeah, on this part of we'll do the rest of unmanageability.
Okay, we'll do
next,
the
'cause we're already at an hour, dude. Surprisingly, yeah.
So we're not going to go into more unmanageability?
No, we're gonna do that when we come back.
All right.
All right.
If that, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see. Man, a lot of these are fucking...
We'll come back to them.
Yeah.
The next one.
All right.
I like this. This is really fun.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope you guys.
So we only got
out
through
there,
2, 4, 6, 9 questions.
Yeah, in
The
an
fuck's
hour.
wrong with us?
We went on a lot of There
We
was a
are-
lot of digression.
and we're answering these thoroughly. Like
Yeah, we
everyone
did
should, right?
we did go a little bit more thorough
Um,
into these ones.
And that's what you're supposed to do when you go through the steps. You know,
That's
don't
true.
microwave them. You know, make sure you get in there and like it's like a pot roast, slow roast that shit.
You know, you had it, and then you just kept going, and you.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah. You said don't microwave them, and that was good. All right, so everybody, thank you for joining us. Apparently, we have a 3-year-old making big noise upstairs.
Meh.
So thank you for joining us once again on our second episode on the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. We are still in step 1. We'll be coming back with unmanageability next time. So tune in. Same bat time, same bat channel. That's a great reference. Everybody keep going to all of our social media outlets. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Go to our merch page and buy some shit because we need help keeping the mics on. So we do have merch and we do have a Patreon that you can join. So most importantly, everybody out there,
Stay safe and stay clean.
very nice.